Okay, good afternoon, committee members and other parties of interest. This is the evaluation committee meeting for RPS 25-00264, professional and miscellaneous services for Geomatics. My name is Ethan Kersey, and I am the senior buyer assigned to this project. This meeting is being held in part by means of communications media technology and has been publicly noticed. Active participation will be for committee members only. Provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. The recording will also be available after the meeting has ended. If you are watching online today, please make sure you mute your microphone and turn off your camera for the duration of the meeting. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect. All meetings and correspondence must include me. Again, for the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noticed. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record, beginning with the committee chairperson, Daniel Sullivan.
I am Dan Sullivan, committee chairman.
And which department are you with?
I'm with Performance Data and Analytics.
Jared Delfino. I'm a section manager with Hillsborough County's real estate department.
Hello, I'm Laurent Scavieri. I am a GIS manager with Geospatial Services.
Thank you, guys. On July 31st, 2025, we received a total of 20 proposals in response to this RPS. The committee will evaluate, discuss, and score by consensus the proposals received in alphabetical order. Each proposal is to be evaluated based only on the information provided in the proposal as it correlates to the requirements and evaluation criteria set forth in the solicitation. The evaluation committee chair, Dan Sullivan, will lead the discussion for scoring. After each criteria is discussed, please state the final consensus scoring agreed upon by each committee member so that I may record it in the scoring spreadsheet. After the conclusion of the scoring, I will verify the scores with the committee and provide the final ranking. Dan, I'll now turn it over to you to lead discussion on our first criteria.
Thank you, Ethan. I'm going to have a couple things here. First thing, I propose that we go by category as opposed to going by firm. So we'll evaluate the first category, the A1 tab first for every firm, AIM through WGI, and then we'll go to the next category. I also want to get a slight consensus on scoring. My scoring, for example, I think I have in this first category a range of 24 to 17. In other words, I don't have anybody higher than 24, and I don't have anybody lower than 17. Yes, that's correct. So that I have a range of 7 points out of 30. So what would your range and upper and lower limits be?
Let me check my first column. My lowest score is a 16 and my highest score is a 20.
Okay, so yours is a
So
little
it's very
narrower,
narrow.
a little narrower than ours. Than mine. Larry, what do you think?
I scored lowest at 18 and my highest was 27.
Okay, so you're on the higher range. So you had 9 between yours and you had 4 tighter range. All right, so we'll have to keep that in mind that our highest numbers are going to be, all of our numbers are going to be different. Yours are probably going to be highest, yours are probably going to be lowest, mine are probably going to be in the middle. Sound reasonable?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, let's evaluate AIM in tab 1. For AIM, tab 1, I gave them a 22.
Just provide a brief explanation.
Oh, 22. That there are a good number of very good surveyors in this group. These all have good experience. They all know what they're doing. It was a professional presentation.
Yes, for AIM in the first category, column A, I have a score of 20. I noted a strong management team for this item.
I scored AIM at 27, citing their green, yellow, red QA/QC methods.
Okie dokie. So 20 to 27, that would give them like we average, that would be like a 23 and a half.
We want to come to consensus, not necessarily an average.
And as far as I'm concerned, AIM would be in the higher end. They were among the leaders.
I would agree. A score of 23. I could get behind that. Yes, I would be in agreement with a score of 23.
Are we scoring A2 at this point? Or A1 for the next round?
This is still A1 for AIM engineering. We're trying to come to a consensus score for A1.
Okay, so you're gonna have to tell me what we're doing because I already reported my first number, right?
Yes, so those are your individual scores. Now, as a committee, you're going to decide on
We're gonna come to
what
an
their
agreement.
final score.
What should we, how should we rate AIM? In other words, we all have them rated as in the top third, let's say. I don't know what it will end up being. And so we're trying to get a number that reflects our opinion on.
Oh, it's a consensus between us.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, and I'm just saying, because it ended up being like I suspected it might, with Jared being low and you being high and me being in the middle. That averaging it at 23 to 24
Sounds good.
would be
I'm gonna concur with that.
23 or 24. Which one?
I like 24.
Are you sticking with 23? Or are you?
I'm gonna go with 24 as well.
I'm good with 24 as
So
consensus.
we're gonna go with, we're gonna change AIM, gets a 24.
24 for AIM criteria 1.
In criteria 1. Now, sticking with criteria 1, we're gonna move down to Atwell. So it means you have to switch your proposal. You with me, Larry?
Yes.
All right.
A1 on Atwell.
And we can rotate who says their score first if we want. Doesn't always have to be yourself.
I don't know, we'll just do it. So for Atwell and tab 1, I had them among the lower. I only gave them a 17. Small number of surveyors and didn't cover all disciplines. So
Yes, for Atwell, I had a score of 18. I did think they had a good team. I did also note that it was on the smaller side, but I thought it was a good team. They have an 18 for me.
I had them scored a little higher at 23, citing their working backward from a final target date as a method of project control.
all right, so averaging that would be 25, would be 20 to 21, which is higher than I would have given them. So
I concur with your lower end, Dan. 2019.
I would say that if we just averaged, it would be 20, but and if you guys felt strongly about it, the surveyors in all of these firms are actually very good. There wasn't any people who couldn't do the job. It's just they don't have any hydrographic surveying in their group, so they don't have a hydrographic surveyor in their group. So that was like, if you were scoring on this surveyor specializes in this field, this one, and you would give them, points for each one of those, they'd end up with a 0 in the hydrographic one, because that's why they got such a low score from me. So, like I said, the consensus number, the average number would be 20 to 21. I'm leaning less than that. I'm leaning 19.
Go to the criteria. Let me just look at the scoring. Sure. So the range of 13 to 18, I was at an 18 on this one, and that's an adequate level of experience. Contains all necessary disciplines.
Did they have all necessary?
I think your hydrologic notation is an interesting one. I didn't necessarily look at it that way, but yes, I would say maybe that would bring it down a slight bit.
Also,
I still think my score of 18 is, I think I would like to stick around that range, based on my review.
that's actually lower than we're trying to give them.
I know,
Okay.
yeah, no, I think 18, 17, 18, 19 is appropriate.
And of all the survey groups that we had, this is also what would be the least experienced ones are coming to Hillsborough County. I mean. Okay, like I said, I graded them at pretty low. In fact, pretty much as low as I graded, basically, so.
And your score was 17?
17. So 18?
So I could go to 17, 18, 19, and that range would be.
I'm with you on the 18 because we already came from the average of 20.
Right. Your scores are different than our scores, so this is just a number thing now. So
I'm sure.
18 then, 18?
I can tell with
18? Okay.
18 for Outlook 2.
All right. So let's go to Chastain Skillman on criteria 1. A firm where I started my career as a
How about that?
as a registered land surveyor. Low these 40-something years ago.
Interested to hear your score then.
Actually, they have a great assembly of talent. They have a large number of very good surveyors. And they covered all the disciplines. I gave them a score of 21.
I have 18 on them as well.
I scored a 20.
Just don't have as much respect for them as I do. Why is why did this company not impress?
Have to go back and check all of my notes and
Then for all right, well, that just means that we see things differently. So that would be 1920 for a score, one of those two numbers. I would, since mine is higher, I'd lean toward the 20, but
I'll stay with the 20.
I'm good with that as well.
so the consensus is 20 on Chastain Skill.
Chastain Skillman, I believe, is processed under Rochester and Associates for this one.
I believe they did have a name thing.
Yes, that's the name they submitted under. So 20 for Rochester and Associates.
Let's move to Civil Serve Design Group, which for me was an impressive group of surveyors. I gave them probably my highest score at 24 for this category.
They are tied for my highest as well. However, it's only 20, but they are tied for highest.
I scored a 21.
Tim worked as a chief under me at a company I worked for. You know, you're getting old when you. 21, Larry, they are not among your most impressive group of surveyors.
Who was the one Jeff Cooner is the principal of?
I don't know.
I just remember the name very vividly.
So Gary, it's not them.
No, it's not them. But the name Ken Glass stood out to me.
Like I said, like most of the companies, they're all good surveyors.
Yeah.
There aren't any bad surveyors. It's just, did they have enough of them? Did they cover every discipline? As far as their expertise, as far as the individuals. You know, that's what this category is about, the ability of the firm and its professional personnel. Do these professionals, cover all of it? And I can see that they do here. So. And 21 is a middle of the pack number for you, right?
Yes.
And I would have, we rated them at the highest they could possibly be, as far as they were like our best firm, so. I would rather keep them up there unless you can give me a good reason why. What was it that you didn't like about Civil Design Group?
I don't know if it was anything more than just a comparison between the other firms that I had gone through thus far in terms of what they were offering in the category. So what I can say is that I did like their strong GIS asset inventory component.
And you'd know more about that than I do.
Yeah, but I didn't want to run through every one of them and using that as criteria on my own, but they did do well to round it out. So no, I don't know that there was anything that really detracted.
So a consensus number would be to take your concerns into account. But a consensus number would be 23 then?
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes, I would be okay with that.
23.
All
right.
23 for Civil Serve Design Group, criteria 1.
And 4. All right, then moves us to CFB. Clymer, Farner, Barley. Right. I called for one of the numbers when I was checking references. They said, I was going through that trying to go Klarner, Farmer, Blair, and the guy goes, we just call him CFB.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Partner Farley will screw you up there.
Let me get to that one. Clymer, Farney, Bailey. Proposal. My machine might not make.
And I can't get any of these to open, it just keeps freezing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, this is another firm with a large number of, as far as I was concerned, really good surveyors. So I gave them a 23. That puts them in the upper echelon of this category.
Yeah, I have a score of 18, which is it's a good score in my chart. They did seem very good. It just when I did a comparison to the others, just the proposal didn't read as well, but I thought they were a very good firm on paper. So I had no complaints about them.
I scored 19.
19. Wonder if my knowledge of these people is coloring my opinion.
Some different rating metrics and how we view.
Well, it's not just that. Mine's Mine, on the last two, mine's just been outside, mine have been higher. It's not the number difference, I'm seeing something different than you guys are.
Yeah, it was, a lot of mine and how I reviewed it had to do with reading. Every time I would go to rate, I would read the way you're supposed to rate them, and I would see, is it adequate, or is it above level, or is it unique? And that's, are they just providing services and that's what they're expected to do, or are they above and beyond? So I try to run everything through that scope of, is this what's expected of the firm, or is there something unique in here, that sets them far and above everyone else? So
Like, for example, the hydrologic surveying, for a lot of these firms,
Sure.
it's going to be difficult for them to be superior because they're all using Russell Hyatt.
That's true.
But I wouldn't know that though. I mean, as far as that goes.
I mean, but they all do, when you do hydrographic survey, you'll see in here
Yeah,
that
well, Hyatt is sub.
he's a sub.
Yeah.
And he specializes in that work, and so it's like, okay, well, they're not going to differentiate themselves if they're all using the same firm.
That's 2 point.
Only a couple of them have their own hydrographic
Hydrographic,
departments. All right, well, let's try and get back to this. Climber Farmore Bailey, CFB. Like I said, I think they're really good. I would ask that you would go to 20 and make that the consensus number for this.
What was your number again?
He was 19. His was close.
yours was
23. I had
23.
I had them way high.
I err on your side anyway, so yeah, that adjustment is.
You have to go by the
Yeah.
proposal. And if the proposal's not impressing you, well, that's
Yeah,
a problem.
just bear with me a second. For consensus purposes, I'm okay with 20.
concur.
All right, we'll go with a consensus 20 for CFB. All right. Colliers Engineering, doing business as Mazer Consulting. Which is, I was wondering who the Colliers Engineering and Design was. And, oh, Mazer.
Yeah, that's what it did, right?
Once again, I know these guys, and so it was an impressive group of surveyors to me, so I gave them a 23. Basically, again, in the upper echelon of my grading.
Yeah, they have a 20 from me.
I scored a 23 as well.
You both at 23? I'm willing to go to 23.
Okay, so we'll go with 23 then.
23 for Colliers Engineering.
Yes. All right, let's go to Cumbian Fair. Once again, good surveyors, all able. I gave them a slightly lower score at 21 for Cumbian Fair.
At a 19?
I scored this company higher at 25.
It's a good company. These are good surveyors. They cover all the categories. Overall number of them was probably my only comment. So 19 to 25, 6 be 22 would be an average, with mine being 21, 22 looks like a pretty good number. But
They were on the higher end for me, so yeah, 22 is.
and that's might still be on the higher
I
number.
feel it's more realistic, yeah.
All right, 22,
For Cumbia and Fair.
yes. DC Johnson. Okay. Well. DC Johnson is a small firm. Without a lot of surveyors. The surveyors they have are good surveyors. They just don't have enough of them. And they didn't cover all the disciplines. They're missing categories, so they don't have specialists in certain areas. So I rated them harshly at 17 for me. That's my lowest score.
Yes, they have a 16 from me for very similar reasons that you said.
I felt the same way and scored them at 19.
So 19 would be around 17 and a half. So 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17.
17 for DC, thanks.
Is this the Pasco County firm?
Yes.
And they prepared their proposal for Pasco County, yeah. All right, DRMP Inc. Larry, am I being loud enough?
I'm sorry?
Am I being loud enough?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm following you.
I have a good loud voice.
No, you're doing good.
Most people don't say, they can't hear me. All right, DRMP, good group, again, a good group of surveyors, a large group of surveyors. So I gave them, pretty much my upper third score. I gave them a 22.
They had a 17 from me.
I scored them at 28.
Almost didn't leave any points on the board there, Larry. 11 would be 5, 17 and 5 would be 22. Basically, my number 22 is basically in the middle between your two numbers. It would be I'm interested. I mean, it's like yours is slightly lower than, in other words, not among the best. I had them among the best. Larry, I'm assuming, had them as the
Yeah, I
best.
had no,
But they had a section in there about accelerated project delivery approaches that caught my attention, and I thought that was kind of neat. Didn't stand out in other proposals. Capacity planning was above average.
I gotcha.
looking at my notes.
Okay.
So I had noted PM experience. Let me see.
Yeah, some of these I had, it's like, well, 23 office, 700 people. That's,
Yeah.
that's a lot of people. And then a lot of times they go, well, what's their license number? And then there are a lot of the firms have really high license number.
13?
No, that'd be really low. I'm talking about like 72, 58, and then
Okay.
a lot of stuff, and it's like, wow, that's not very much experience. And then when I read closer the resumes, they've been licensed in Georgia, or in other words, they've been licensed in other states. It's like they just recently got transferred to this office and got their Florida licenses. Oh. It's not like he's brand new. He's got a lot of years
I
experience.
think my score had to do with the way the rating metrics were read out in the criteria. And this one it was adequate level of experience. So like, is this what we're expecting? So yeah, there was very good things in there, in the proposal. And then the last line of his proposed PM's qualifications are adequate. I think the amount of time that the direct PM may have been licensed or with DRPM, I can't remember which one, was maybe, that's where it just came in at 17 for me. So it's still adequate, it's great, just, you know, based on what that line was saying about the PM directly, I think that's where my score came from.
David Paul Charles. That he's not the PM, is he?
That's how I read the proposal. Nothing against him, it just, I think was the length of time that he's been with the company. And he got his license in 2022.
Yes, that would be. He got his license in Florida in 20.
Florida in 2022.
Legitimate concern. Okie dokie, so.
Well, good score, just, that's what the criteria was calling.
No problem. So averaging it, it would be like a 20. Would be a 22. My score is a 22. That too high for you?
I'm not opposed to a 22 based on the remainder of
I think it's realistic.
So I'm willing to bend on that criteria.
Okay. We'll go with a consensus then of 22.
22 for DRMP.
All right. Echo UES. I think that's my scores. This was not a very wildly variable category for me. Pretty much all the surveyors, all good surveyors, there's enough of them. And so once again, 22 was my score for this group.
Yeah, I have a score of 20 for Echo.
I scored 24 on this one.
24. And so.
I'm good on 22 or 24. I think they were very good.
So. So 20 though, like your highest score, this would be among your very
Yes,
highest.
they're tied for first with a
And
few others, yes.
also among your very highest. Okay, I'm with you guys. This is a very good group, so why don't we give them a 23?
Yes.
23
23.
for Echo UES.
23 for Echo UES. Moving on to Element. You're going to be stunned at my score. Stunned, I say.
Winning one.
I gave them a 23. Once again, a good group of surveyors, enough surveyors. A good proposal as far as I thought that pretty much these guys are going to do what they say they're going to do. So
If I was rating higher than 20 in this category, they would get higher than 20, but 20 is.
But
what I-
20 is what they get.
Yes, they got a 20.
I was a little lower here and rated them at 18.
Well, there must have been a reason, Larry. What's,
Again, it was in comparison to probably the proposal before, you know what I mean, as a way of comparing them to the others that I've been looking at so far. I mean, I think I know Ken Glass from my past survey years, but it's a good name.
yeah, I have a tough time because I know all of these guys.
Right, but we're supposed to be off just what's in the proposals.
So Larry has them near the bottom, you have them near the top, and I have them. You have them at the top, in fact. Larry has them at the bottom. And I have them more than, they're not top, but they're in, let's say this top third. So what kind of consensus can we come to on that? If you were doing an average of the number, you'd end up with something around 20. You'd end up with 20 and a half, so you'd be in between 20 and 21.
What's one?
So I'm worried about your concerns, Larry. It's like if there's one of us who's probably the most objective as far as the proposal is concerned, it's probably you.
So let's go back to the rating criteria just to see what it says again.
Because if there's something in the proposal that I didn't see.
Yeah, thank you.
That's I like it too, my apologies.
So what are the scores we're debating between here?
Basically 18 to 23 for the scores, so project team have adequate levels of experience, they have all the necessary disciplines. They have adequate professional services to provide the services. The prime firm has adequate understanding of the proposed project and what will be required to complete it, and the proposed project manager's qualifications are adequate. Is what gets you an 18. So with that, you'd have to be saying that they don't have an above average level of experience. And I would agree that the project manager is not uniquely qualified because, like I said, they're all good surveyors. There's nothing unique. He's good, but then so is everybody else, hardly unique. Okay, the project team contains all necessary disciplines. The project team is adequate to the project. Then I would agree that the prime firm does not have superior professional resources, since one of the people they're using, I believe, is high at surveying. So it's like, okay, it's hard to be superior when you're using the same one as everybody else. And then I agree, they don't have an above average of the proposed project. So based on these, I'm having a tough time not to browbeat you. I would give them at least a 21. That's what I think. But that's,
I concur with that.
21 is wholly justifiable in my opinion.
Agreed.
Okay, 21 then,
Or element engineering.
for element engineering. On to Florida Design Consultants. This group I gave slightly lower score, but still a good score, 21.
Do you have any other comments?
I'm trying to remember why.
It's only 3 surveyors and all.
I have a feeling that's probably why. It's the,
Yeah, there's only 3 surveyors.
checking to make sure, project survey manager. PSM. Right. So that would have been the only thing that compared to other firms, they don't have a large number.
Yeah, they had a score of 19. For similar reason.
And Larry, how'd you score them?
18.
18. All right, so. Eighteen to 21 is, that would give you 19 and a half, so 19.
Yeah, I agree with that. The half wouldn't round it up. The half point doesn't help it.
19.
The 19.
19 for Florida Design Consultants.
On to GeoPoint. So. This would be another one that they lack minor disciplines, so they don't have expertise in certain disciplines, so I gave them a 17.
I gave them an 18.
I scored them at 19.
So why don't we just give them an 18? 18.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. I agree with that.
All right, 18 then.
For GeoPoint surveying.
GeoPoint, 18. All right, let's go to George F. Young. Close by. All are close by.
Proximity is not, I don't believe that's in the criteria.
Oh, sorry. I didn't really, they all have offices right here. It wasn't really a consideration. Once again, for me, it's a large number of good surveyors. Which usually does influence me to give them the better score, so I gave them a 23.
20. They had very good staff.
28 here.
28, Larry also likes them, so. So a consensus score of 24, 20, 28,
20.
24, I'm at 23. So
Totally adequate.
Completely.
everybody thinks that 24 is gonna be a good score, okay, 24 good one then.
24 for George F. Young.
McKibben Creed. And Creed is a gigantic firm with a huge number of highly qualified surveyors. And I gave the highest score to at 24.
I have a 20 in my note is the management team is exceptional.
You scored highest on mine at 29.
So if you were to average 20 to 29, you'd end up with 24 and a half. I'm at 24, so you could go 24 or 25.
I would go 25, in my opinion, because they were better than AIM Engineering's. And that if we're gonna do that, then they deserve that half point.
25 it is then.
25 for McKim and Creed.
Yes. On to Pickett and Associates. Okay, we can fool ourselves and think we're almost done.
The bad part about doing it this way.
All right, so Pickett and Associates, my apologies, Pickett. Once again, large number of good surveyors, cover all the disciplines. So I gave them a 23.
18.
25.
And if you 18 is slightly lower than normal for you, and 25 is slightly higher than normal for you, and 23 is slightly higher than normal for me. If you average between 18 and 25, you would get 21 and a half, so say 22.
I agree with the 22 and
22.
Let me just go through. See if I missed something. The number proposed is 22, right?
Yes, so we're thinking about, this is but that would put them, 22 puts them in the upper group for us. And that's not how you scored them.
Yeah, let me just go through the proposal real fast. It's the project manager. This group again.
They have so much equipment. Five vac trucks. You know, when you're listing your equipment and you list Cessna.
That is pretty neat.
Okay.
Okay, 22 I'm good with.
All right, consensus of 22, 22, 22. All right,
22 for Pickett and Associates.
yes. We're next moving on to Southeastern Surveying and Mapping, SSM. Which is not in alphabetical order, so be careful. Not Sam,
Was next.
but Southeastern
Yeah.
Surveying and Mapping.
Yeah, we had Sam was surveying and mapping.
So, once again, a good group of surveyors, but I don't think there were enough of them. So they're slightly lower for me at 21.
I had a 20 for them.
I scored them at 22.
Guess what the middle number of 20 and 22 is?
I'm just a lawyer, I don't do math.
What do you think? 21?
Yeah, it's 21.
That's all right. Southeastern surveying and mapping 21.
Agreed.
Now we can go to surveying and mapping, Sam.
Are you having computer issues? Or?
No.
Get you plugged in or something.
I'm doing, it's good on batteries. It's in good shape. We have to confess that the number that I gave them in the sheet that I provided probably is not a good number because it's not based on criteria, not based on the criteria that I should have evaluated by. I have an error in my score.
Okay, we'll talk through that and provide a.
My problem is I know at Jezebel and Associates, I've worked with them in the past. And so I've let that color my decision. And I shouldn't have. Based on their proposal, they probably should have gotten something like a 21 from me.
So it should be solely off the proposal, no past experience.
It's that and when looking at this, I went, why did I grade them so low? And then when I was scrolling through here, I saw it and I went, okay. Remember why I scored them.
So looking based on what's there, you.
But looking at what they've got here in their thing, that they don't deserve that, they deserve better than my memory. So give me a second. 20 survey crew, 4 survey crews. No, this should have been a 21 from me, not an 18.
They have a 20 from me.
And as normal, I scored a little higher at 26.
Okay, so that would give them a 23 or so. I would say 22.
Sure. Agreed. Okay, so 22 for surveying and mapping.
Yes. SurfTech Solutions. I guess I really have to be careful about that. All right. So for them, it's a good group of surveyors. Once again, not the highest. I gave them a 21.
19.
But by no means the lowest either. 19. Larry, what do you think?
I scored 28.
That's a
Yeah, I'm good with that.
You have all the disciplines, they've got a lot of surveyors. And 21's, a good score from me. It's solidly in the middle, and there's not that much variance. In the really good firms, 21 to 24 is all the variance I had, so. You said 28, Larry?
Yeah, that's what I scored.
So that puts them among the highest for you. 19 puts them in the upper half for you. 21 puts them in the upper half for me. Averaging this score between 19 and low to high, the midpoint score for that is 23.5. I would say 23.
Agreed.
Sure. Based on upper. So, and 23 is going to end up in the upper. 23 for Surf Tech Solutions. Finally, WGI. This is another solid firm. This isn't a top third for me again. Not that that's all that great an accomplishment in my scoring, but 21 is what I gave them. 21, 22, 23.
Yeah. 20 for me, so
Is that a top of the line for you? 20,
23.
23, and Larry really likes to do. All right, well, that would put them at 21 and a half. I'm thinking not giving them the half, go with just 21.
Agreed.
yeah.
All right, let's go with 21 then for WGI.
Yeah, 21 for WGI. That brings us to the end of our first criteria. We're gonna take a quick 2-minute break and we'll be back at 2 o'clock.
All right,
Okay, we'll move on to our second criteria for RPS 25-00264. Firms experience with projects of a similar size and type.
all right, so similar size and type, starting with AIM Engineering. So this is another one where my range of scoring was basically 22 down to 15. But there's not very many 15s. Most of the scores are 19 and 20, let's say. So that's my range.
And this criteria had a max of 25.
Right, and again, though, it's just, exceptional is difficult in my world. And failing is difficult in my world. So, for among professional firms, and I can't imagine people who are making money are failing at this work. Okay, so your range would have been,
16 to 19, none of them went over 19.
that's a very small range. That's like your other range was pretty tight too.
I'm a little more, still on a 9-point variation between 15 and 25.
So we're basically doing the same thing as last time.
Yep.
You rate a little tighter, I rate in the middle, and you rate more extravagantly. All right. Let's go with AIM Engineering, tab 2. And they basically ended up in the top third. I gave them a 20 at they're successful at the projects, they have a similar experience, the approach and the methods were above average or average. And the scope of services is representative of projects that Hillsborough County does. So I gave them a 20.
19.
19.
I give them a 24.
All right, so in keeping with the 25, 22 and a half would be 21 and a half. So what do you think, 21 or 22? That's where we're,
I do 21.
you think 20?
Sure. 21's fine with me.
But they're gonna end up 21's gonna end up probably in the middle. All right, so. All right, in this category, 21. That's myself,
So 41 for AIM Engineering, that category 2.
All right, next one, Atwell. Atwell's a proposal, I don't think they had. They're missing, once again, they don't have all the disciplines, so it makes it hard for them to have adequate, successful, recent past experience with similar sized projects. If some of the projects aren't covered. So I gave them a 15. Would be the lowest that I gave.
At a 17.
I had a 20.
Would that be among your lowest, or is that in the middle of the pack?
That's in,
In the middle. All right, well, it appears that I was harsh. Those. The average score would be like 17 and a half. The midpoint would be 17 and a half. I mean, yeah, between 15 and 20, 17 is 17 and a half. So. I'll give it to you guys, 17.
So consensus 17.
Consensus is 17 for Apple. On the Chastain skill. Chastain Skillman, the upper mids for me, I gave them a 20. For they basically have done many of the same kinds of projects with Hillsborough County.
I had them at a 17.
17 here.
Well, I'm going to have to.
Trying to open it up.
Yeah, the computer's a bit slow. If you guys could just talk a little bit more through. your
Yeah, I would
thoughts.
love to. I'm just trying to get the
Computer's not cooperating.
All right, so 17 is low for Jared and really low for Larry. Larry, why so low?
It's the size of the projects and the, and a lot of the numbers or the, what do you call it, monetary amounts for the projects.
Okay,
I think the projects that my computer is still loading, they referenced like a VA clinic, which is a great project. It just was on a smaller scale of, things that I'm usually involved with. So,
right.
just in the scope of it, it made it good projects, just, it was, rated at 17 score. So,
Gotcha. So would you guys be comfortable with 18 then? Basically my scores and your two? Or do you want to stick with 17? I could go either way, 17, 18.
Agreed.
17?
Yes, sir.
I'm just, if this would ever bother, I want to look at the projects one more time before I get a final.
We're going through the projects, to the proposals this way.
I have to open and close them. I have like 60 tabs open right now.
If you'd like to, I think Larry has enough if you want to just glance at it.
Would you mind if I look at your proposal for this one?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it was the streetscape plaza,
Right.
it was like trail services. General park services. VA. I did think the infrastructure assessment one was very impressive. I will add that. I did have that noted, but just the overall scope of the project.
Still not a real large project.
So 17 then.
I agree.
All right,
That
17.
was the biggest, almost $100,000 for $1 million.
Yeah.
17 for a Chastain scope.
That is correct, 17. Civil serve. Civil serve. Basically in the middle for me, 20, that's what I gave them.
I gave them a 19. My notes were large projects consistent with county projects.
23.
It's really from Larry, to be a 22 for an average score. Or excuse me, would be 21. 21?
Yes, sir.
21.
21 for civil serve.
Next up is climber, farmer, barley. Straight down. And and then with not much experience with Hillsborough, this type of work.
They had a landfill, is that right? And pipeline project. We're on climber, right?
Yes, CFB. And they had, yeah, they basically didn't have, they had a lot of boundary surveys. And
Landfill.
one route survey, basically. No right of way surveys, no GIS
Correct.
stuff. It was like, so I gave them a 17.
I had an 18 for them.
15 here.
You wanna talk through the 15?
I mean, again, I looked at the projects and just my opinion, except for this landfill, everything else seemed pretty small. And like Dan said, they didn't include any route surveying.
They had one route survey, that pipeline survey would be
Yeah.
a route survey, but it was, basically, it was like, yeah, they didn't have the variety of projects that the other firms did. So, 15 to 18, 3, 1.5, 16.5, that basically gives a 17 as a midpoint.
Sure.
Works for me too.
All right, 17 then.
17 for climber, probably the boiler.
On to others. Oh, come on, machine. And that one, I've got them in the upper third. But they listed a variety of projects. And more like the projects Hillsborough County does.
Yeah, or
So I gave them a 21.
19.
24.
So 21.5 would be the midpoint between the low and the high number, so 21.
What's your pick,
22.
Dan?
My number was 21, but
Okay.
19 to 24, it's just a number.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that. 21, it sounds.
Yeah, that's not good.
21 it is then.
Yep, 21's for comedy.
On the Cumbian Fair. Cumbian Fair, it was in the lower half, basically for me. I had them at 19.
I also had them at 19. I wonder why I chose my highest and you were on the lower side.
I had them at 24.
19. And so you had them
I don't know,
high,
high.
and Larry has them high,
Mhm.
and I have them not low, but lower
Mhm.
than. So let's see,
It's another project.
they work for us now. They are doing this contract. They do the same contract for Pinellas. Same contract with Hillsborough County Engineering.
Wide variety of Hillsborough County projects and Eval Rico. Maintain right of way maps, solve people's,
Yeah,
Seems as if they've worked for us before, right?
yes, they have. So. You guys, I'm thinking, 22 then, highest. Fairly high,
Step down for me, yeah.
22, I can go with a 22,
22 for Cumby and Fair.
right? DC Johnson. Okay. DC Johnson. I had them at pretty low at 16, at 16.
Based on the proposal submitted, I have 16 as well.
But scored them at 13. I mean, heavy hitters.
That's okay, so, 16, there's 32, so. I recommend a 15 based on those three scores then.
Sure.
15.
15 for DC Johnson.
On to DRMP. This is one of this isn't the upper, man, they're still solidly in the middle, let's put it that way. I gave them a 20.
I had a 17.
On the low end
I
for
gave them a 24.
and 7. So. Basically, we're probably all giving them basically the same score. 17 is on the lower end for you. 24 is kind of in the middle for you. 20 is in the middle for me.
Remember, this categories only have 25.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of
Relative.
right.
Sure.
Like, so I'm thinking they end up that if we were only using Larry's score, we would give him a 24. If we were only using Jared's score, we give him a 17. If we were only using mine, we give him a 20. And mine does seem to be in the middle. It's either a 20 or a 21 for DRMP.
20 sounds good.
Yeah, I think 20 is
20 is fair.
we're gonna
It's in the same score range.
consensus of in the middle of the pack, but not in the top, not at the top of the pack. 20
Agreed.
for a consensus score then. All right, 20.
20.
On to Echo. Hold it. Okay, yeah.
Yep, DRMP 20.
Echo, proposal. Echo, I gave them, they're in my top third. I gave them a 22.
They had a 19.
24.
And basically consensus, 5, 2.5, 21.5, 22. For a consensus score, 22.
Yeah.
22 for
22 for
Echo.
Echo.
Basically in the middle. Element. And I had them in the top third there. Right up there with Echo, 22.
19.
24.
It's the same scores. So same consensus at 22.
Sure.
All right, 22.
Might have a flood of these at this point.
22 for Echo.
Board of Design Consultants, FDC. It was not. So I did not have them in the top of the group. I had that at 19 for them.
I had a 19 as well. I want to look at the projects again.
Yeah, me too.
15 here.
Larry is with me and not,
No, what happened to me? Let's find out.
it's same contract with Manatee County.
Right.
Yeah.
What would a proposed consensus score be on this one?
Larry had 15, you said?
1.6, I had 1.5.
1.5. I'm sorry, I should have spoken up. So consensus score would be around 17 or 18.
That's 17.
I'm fine with that.
All right, I will go with that. 17.
17 for Florida Design Consultants.
On to GeoPoint. And GeoPoint, I had them slightly above the middle of the pack with a 20.
$18.
17.
Who knew I was a generous reader? This was probably my worst category for reading the proposal. It's on Trail, Department of Transportation. Beach Force Main Extension. Would be, so. 18.5, so.
They didn't list, how many projects did they list? I'm only counting like one. In that whole section. One example. There's another one right there. They got them split up because a couple pages. All right, that's 3. Okay, yeah, there's more.
Okay, so a consensus number would be, a midpoint number would be 18.5, so 18, 19, that's, and 19 would be really close to my.
18.
18 is.
Projects again, so we have Water Street,
Gigantic downtown Tampa.
huge deal.
That's-
Sun Trail project. Pretty big.
Villages across town.
It's really between 18 and 19, that's our,
I could go to, what was your number again?
mine's 20, I would go with 19.
I
If it
think
was
I'm
me.
willing to go up to 19 after looking at the project.
That was good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a consensus of 19.
That is for geocurrent survey.
That is correct. George F. Young is next. George F. Young, I have them in my top upper third, basically.
They're at the top for me.
It is pretty much the standard as far as the kinds of projects, the type of work.
Yep.
So I gave him a 21.
19.
24.
Backdoor groove here. So 5, 2.5 would be 21.5. 21 or 22.
22.
That's what I agree.
All right, I can go with 22.
22 for George F. Young.
All right, McKim Creed. McKim Creed. Slightly lower than for me, so I give them a 20.
They were 19 for me as well.
23 here.
20 what?
23.
23 from Larry. So it'd be 21 would be the midpoint for 21.
Yeah.
That that would put them nearer to the top.
We look at their projects again.
A lot of FDOT and a lot of our work just mirrors the FDOT work.
Yeah.
One water campus. I'm good with a 21.
21.
Good.
All right, 21 it is then.
21 for McKim and Creed.
Pickett and Associates. Okay. So these were lower third for Pickett and Associates for me. And I gave them an 18.
I had them at a 17.
20.
Oh, 18 and a half. And for all of us, bottom third then,
Like 18.
or 18 then. 18.
18 for Pickett.
Southeastern Surveying and Mapping. SSM, not SAM. And then they had, again, lower third, 19.
Which one is this one again? This is Southeastern.
Southeastern Surveying and Mapping, SSM.
I had them at a 19. I would like to look at the projects again.
15.
I noted I liked their projects. Why did I like them? Let's see.
Miles of sidewalk An assessment for $10,000 is pretty cheap.
Yeah. Do you mind if I look?
Yeah, think about.
Bill?
Still Air Force Base.
ADA transition plan. I like that kind of project.
A water main loop. Or free GIS. Okay, so. So
Higher.
higher,
for me.
mid, low, and very low.
That's my loss, yeah.
I mean. So what's the proposed consensus score here?
You want to talk through why the lowest scored people could vary? If you would just talk through why they're scored low for you there.
Again, these projects are small, like I said, $10,000 listed for a project going countywide services, not a good thing.
Yeah.
I would have just struck the pay.
I think you're probably right about the size, but. So I'm willing to revise.
All right, well, the revised number would be I think an average number or a midpoint number between the highest and the lowest would be 17. And that would be lower than what I gave them. And I could go with it. Larry's observation on the size of the projects
I'm
is
very good at that. 17 is okay with me.
all right. I can agree with 17. 17.
Yes, I agree with that as well.
17 for southeastern surveying.
And then surveying and mapping. Surveying and mapping, they're ending up solidly in the middle for me. I gave them a 20 on that.
They were high for me. They had a 19 as well.
20 here.
So a consensus number of 20 then,
Sounds good to me.
20?
Yep.
All right, 20.
20 for surveying and mapping.
And then ServTech Solutions. And for me, they were among the best. I gave them a 22.
They had an 18 for me.
Slightly lower than,
I agreed with Dan and gave him a 24.
and so a consensus number of 21. Not quite as high as you might rate them, but higher for me, lower for you. What do you think? 21? I consider 21. 21.
21 for surveying.
And then finally WGI. And another, for me, another solidly in the middle group. I gave them a 21.
They have an 18.
Slightly lower than,
22 here.
not as high as he would normally. So, but that generates a consensus number of around 20.
Agreed.
20?
Yep.
Give them a 20.
Okay. 20 for WGI. That puts us at the halfway point. Do you gentlemen want a 5-minute break? You just want to keep rolling on? You gentlemen want a 5-minute break? You want to just keep rolling on?
I'm good if everybody else is good.
I'm fine.
Let's go.
Let's do another one.
All right.
On to criteria 3, firm's willingness and ability to meet schedule and budget requirements.
We're going back up to AIM engineering. This category really shrank for me. Most of the scores are 20 to 21. There's a couple of outliers at, I think maybe 17. So I have a range, one at 15 so 15 to 21. But I only have one that low. For the most part, they're 19 to 21 in this category for me. So not much differentiation.
Yeah, mine's another tight, narrow range of 16 to 19.
That's 3 again for you.
My smallest range, and it was 19 to 24.
All right, so those are actually all pretty close scores, and yours might end up being a little bit lower
Yeah.
on average than everybody else's. All right, so for AIM engineering, their willingness, and that is, I gave them a 20. So basically, a good understanding and approach to the scope and project budget and schedule can be met. That's what I felt like the proposal said to me.
Yep, 19 for me.
I scored 22.
2, 3, 21 and a half. 21 for a consensus number.
It sounds great.
All right,
21 for a.
And then Atwell, basically I give them the same number again for me, 20. So a lot of that's because of the way the evaluation criteria reads. Do they understand the approach to the project in their submittal? And can the budget and schedule be met with the personnel that they have? And so that ended up generating a lot of 19 and 20s for me, in this case, a 20.
18 for me, but it seems to understand it.
22?
23.
23, so that would generate either a 21 or a 20. No, that generates a 21, a 20 or a 21. So
You can lean on your criteria break there from 16 to 20 or 21 to 25.
Right.
You get criteria 3.
right, so I'm thinking 21 for them as a 20 or a 21.
I like 20.
Slightly lower. Larry, I think 21. If 21,
Okay.
what do you think?
Superior understanding and approach to scope, schedule, and budget.
Yeah, you're right. But then that's what we gave
Yeah, it's true.
AIM. Your score is one lower than AIM's score, your score is one higher than the ones that's, and my score is the same. So it looks like maybe the score should be the same as AIM's, basically. It's like,
That's fair.
that's a 21.
That's fair.
All right, 21.
21 for Atwell.
All right, Chastain Skillman. I gave them this on the slightly on the lower side. I gave them a 17.
And 18.
Equal to 24. I lost my spot.
Superior understanding and approach to scope, schedule and budget with potential improvements for budget delivery and cost savings. I have to say, I never saw in any of the proposals, I don't think, a potential for savings.
This is Chastain Skillman, correct?
Justin, yes.
Let's talk through, does anyone have particular notes for them under this criteria?
I don't, but that's because it's like a solid, for me, this was solidly in the middle, you know, they can do the job. Only maybe not as good as some of the other firms is how I looked at it, so the 17. You know, when you're in the middle of that category of 16 to 20, which is, you know, good understanding and can do the job. That's basically what the evaluation criteria says. Higher than that, it seems like you would have to say a superior understanding of the scope and potential improvements for delivery and cost savings.
The reason why I scored them so high is based on what they called their current project workload or their current workload sheet. They listed almost all the projects that they have in current
Yeah,
play.
you can't, that's the wrong category, Larry. That's the next category, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's number 4,
Workload.
workload.
83, right?
Yeah, A3, but isn't that criteria of what availability is?
Yes, ability to meet schedule,
Okay, not availability, but ability, I'm sorry.
ability to meet schedule.
Okay, yes,
I mean, I guess my reasoning was because of all the projects that they were currently involved with, half of them are almost complete. So the ability to meet our schedule would be positive.
I just want to clarify, we're working on Chastain Skillman here.
Speak up.
We're working on Chastain Skillman here, is that what we have open there?
Right here, right? Justin's feeling it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Proposal?
Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir.
the big one,
You are correct, you are correct. I saw the,
Okay,
their, DBA up there. You're correct.
okay, I just want to make sure. I'm on the
You're
right
perfectly
track.
correct, yes,
Do you have any laptop charger?
right here. Right here.
Thank you.
Anybody else need it? I can get another one from out there if we need.
no, mine's sitting at 100%, so. Oh, that's. Oh, no, mine's 36% remaining, I might need one too.
Okay. We can maybe switch off here.
Let it get some juice.
So we're Chastain Skillman criteria 3, where are we at?
Right, we're trying to, Larry had rated them high because they had a lot of availability. And I'm thinking that's the next category, and that it's their ability. In other words, their technical prowess, not their raw manpower.
Okay, I follow what you're saying, okay.
Because the next category is, you know, they finished all their project and they need work, then that's a valid thing in the next category, but this one is their technical expertise in understanding the scope and,
Budget required.
and meeting budgets. So if it could still be the number,
I took this one as more budget focused is how I was reading this one, but I understand what you're saying.
like I said, this is why I didn't have a whole bunch of variation.
Right, absolutely.
It's like, okay, if all these companies should understand the scope, right? There might be one that didn't quite impress me on that. And they can meet a schedule and they can bring them their price, they can bring them in on their bids. Yeah, to me, it would be super impressive if I had read something in one of these proposals that said, here's how we're gonna save Hillsborough County. It's like,
AI to do all of your survey
yeah,
work.
Say that again, Dan.
So I would have been impressed if I'd seen something in one of these proposals that says, here's how we're going to bring all of our projects in under budget. We have a system that's, you know,
Yeah,
so different than everybody else's that,
no, it was basically the same language throughout all of it and stuff that I've read before too, so. Okay, I mean, I could be walked off at the score, I don't know, I guess I was misinterpreting that.
because if it's availability, then, yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
I have a big variation in because there are companies here who have no availability and some that are like, we want your work.
I got you, okay, that makes sense.
That's the next category. So what do you think, Larry? What's your number?
I had for them at 24.
Is that still your number?
No, I would bring that down to a 20 now. After reloading everything.
Okay, so that would generate a consensus number of around 19. And 19 looks like a reasonable number.
I agree with that now.
Okay. 19 then.
19 for Chastain Skillman.
Yes.
Yep.
And then civil serve design. Come on. And civil serve design. See here, I think I had gone 20, 20 and 17. This is back to the middle, basically. Civil serve had 19. Basically in the middle. 20 and 19 being in the middle for me. So 19.
I had them at 19.
I had them at 22.
Okie dokie, so that generates a number of between 19 and a half, so either 19 or 20.
Go with 19 since you guys had a consensus.
19?
Yep.
All right, 19 for civil serve.
19.
On the Clymer Farmer Bailey, again, middle of the pack, basically for me in number, they basically solidly were able to do that. The proposal showed that they had a good understanding of the scope, a good approach to the scope, that they understood the schedule, that they could schedule and budget, and that their schedules and budgets could be met. They had the people, the ability, and the methodology to set a schedule and a budget and meet it. And so 20 solidly in that category for me.
I think they did all those things. I have them at a 16, but I don't remember anything on this necessarily saying that they were inadequate. It's just reading the proposal.
16 would have been, and this is the problem with this thing, with this particular category. If you look at the next one down, 11 to 15 for points, there's
So
very little difference between those two. It's like, how do you make
right.
a decision between that? The adequate schedule approach, understanding of budget control,
Very
understanding of scope. So, okay, what's the difference between that and the other one? And the only difference is project budget and schedule can be met or can be modified to meet project intent. So, in other words, it would require some work on their part to meet a schedule in that category.
Mhm.
So
20 for me.
20 for you, 20, 20 and the 16.
16.
What do you think?
I'm going back and looking at the proposal.
Because in the groups before, we basically have 21, 21, 19 and 19, so.
Here, my computer, it's like gonna take off.
That's not setting your hand on fire.
So loud.
I've been watching over here, Larry's got the fastest computer I've ever seen compared to this.
Yes, the GIS guys, they get a fast machine. Larry probably did something to his, knowing Larry.
What were your numbers again?
I have 20, he has 20, we're both sitting at 20, basically solid.
I think I'm willing to go up to 20 on this with you guys.
Okay,
And call it consensus at 20.
call it consensus at 20 then.
20 for CFB.
That is correct. On to Collier's Engineering and Design. And for Collier, it's almost no different than this group. I had him at 21, so slightly better than average. A potential for cost savings was probably the only thing I saw in there.
I have 19.
What?
Well, I would say that the consensus number was 20 then. 20?
Sure.
20.
20 for college.
20 for Colliers. And in Cumberland Fair, once again, I have a 21.
At 19, with a note of very good quality control, budget review control in their proposal.
23.
23, that's gonna generate a consensus number of 21, basically. 21 then,
Everybody agrees? One for Cumbian Fair.
DC Johnson. Alright, so. Problem child for me, I had to give them a 15 in DC Johnson.
Give them a 16.
17.
Any notes for those lowest person?
The proposal was centered somewhat around Pasco County, which I don't know if it was just inadvertent or
Well,
what.
still,
I think they do have the ability to provide the services, just it was focused around a different county.
which. The category, they're adequate, basically.
Yeah, I
Not,
would agree.
not, in other words, it didn't show solid grasp of. They're small, that hurts. Yeah, consensus number for them is going to be 16. Basically, a little lower than, we got 15, 16, and 17 for scores. So. I recommend 16, 16,
Concur.
16.
16 for DC Johnson.
And DRMP. DRMP, they're in the top third for me, so I gave them a 21.
It's 17 for me.
24.
The best, Larry, the best so far for Larry,
Yes.
a little bit lower than the average. And then I gave him a 21, which is basically a little bit above average, so 17, 3.5, 21 ends up being 20, 21 ends up being in the middle of those numbers.
I would air 21.
And
Putting them in a category, it's going to be for in engineering.
this is a non-differentiated category, so. So 21 is. They show. Superior understanding. Or. They show. Potential improvements for project delivery, that's probably why I scored them slightly higher. Big firm. So if they need to finish her in a hurry, they could throw more people on it. 17 would just put them solidly in they understand the approach, they have a good schedule, and then Larry has them at superior understanding and approach to scope and either potential savings or potential improvements in project delivery. I'm thinking 21 is a reasonable number.
Agreed.
Sure.
21 for consensus.
That's 21 for DRMP.
That is correct. Echo UES. Again, a top third country company for me. I gave them a 21. Basically the same thing.
19.
23.
19, 23. And if you add 2 to 19, you get 21. If you subtract 2 from 23, you get 21. So a consensus number of 21.
Sounds good.
All right, consensus of 21.
21 for Echo.
And Element, I'm gonna shock you with this number, 21.
I shock you with mine. 19.
19.
20.
All right. So these are all pretty much the same. So a consensus number of 20. That's a reasonable number. 20 then?
20 for Element.
Florida Design Consultants, a little lower than the high group here. I give them a 20.
They had a 19 for me.
19 as well.
All right, well, I guess I will join you at 19. So that would be a consensus number of 19.
19 for
Yes.
All right,
Florida Design, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Geopoint surveying. Okay, so I had them at 15. This is a reflection again of not all disciplines being covered, make it difficult to have a complete scope. If you can't do something, then you can't do it.
I have a high number on this and now I want to go back and look again. I have a 19, so let me see why.
I'm 19 as well.
GeoPoint, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, my notes are presentation on budget is helpful. I'm gonna look at what it actually looks like.
So this is, my number is strictly because they can't provide everything, so.
Sure.
Scope, if they can't provide all the services required, they're gonna have a difficult time with the approach to the scope
That's true.
on a project that they can't do.
Right.
If I get to,
Yeah. Just meeting the schedule more so than I was focused more on the budget side, whereas you're looking at the scheduling side of it. With my list. So, yeah,
that's why I gave them a lower.
understood.
Otherwise, I'm sure they have no problem, for the projects that they can do, the scopes that they do meet, then I'm sure they're fine.
Understood. So numbers again?
19, 19, and 15 would meeting the 15. 19 would be low for there, so.
Proposed consensus?
I would propose a consensus around 18.
Number.
18,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
slightly lower for you two, much higher for me, but. Like I said, it's I'm kind of a one trick pony on that one. So 18 for GeoPoint.
Yep.
All right, George F. Young, middle of the pack again for me, 20.
19.
19.
Well, I'm going to defer the 19. Matt,
It is a consensus.
19 for Georgia Hill.
yes, McKimmon Creed, top third, 21.
Yes, 19.
I gave them 20.
And I'm gonna say, go ahead and make it 20. I'm gonna propose a consensus number of 20,
That's right in the middle.
because it's in the middle of. Right, and it's hard to justify potential improvements in project delivery or cost savings.
That one good with 20 for
20,
Sure. McKinley Creed, 20.
And Pickett Associates, I gave them a 20.
I have an 18.
19.
Well, that brings basically 19 as the consensus number, 19. That's his number.
Yes.
That's, let's see, 19 for Larry is a little on the low side. So mine being, but yeah, 19. I'll go with 19.
Okay,
Yes.
19 for Pickett, correct?
19 for Pickett. SSM, I gave them a 19.
18.
20.
Consensus number of 19 appears to be.
Agreed.
19, 19,
Agreed.
19 for Southeastern Survey.
yes. Surveying and mapping, I gave them a 20.
19.
23.
So they have a potential consensus number of 21. Which I could. The 23, Larry, is based on
Pull it up, sir.
cost savings or superior understanding.
My notes say they had good estimation and tracking techniques for
Right.
budget controls.
And I would agree with that. To me, you know, like I said, 20 is that solidly good understanding of approach to scope, good scheduling and budgeting, you know, project and schedule can be met, then hard to get away from that one for companies. The 23 means they had to do something more than that. Superior understanding and approach to scope, or a superior approach to scheduling and budget, or potential savings. Potential savings is something that,
By minimizing labor costs, which is cited in page 30, and providing cost savings to the county on page 31, speak directly to that.
okay, so that's how you, okay, so
So,
a consensus number of 21 then for them.
Sure.
21.
21 for surveying and mapping.
Surf Tech Solutions, I had them solidly basically in the middle for me, 20.
18.
23 again. Let me take another look at that.
How's your computer battery doing?
It's decided to hide on me, so must be failing.
I'm 58, so it's better than 32.
Yes.
Again,
Doesn't
they
like it.
cited soft, cost saving ideas in their language, which directly connected to that.
Okay, that's a legitimate, that's why, okay. Taking into account Jared's lower score, the previous scores were 23, 19, and 20. And this one's 23, 18, and 20. I propose that a consensus score of 20 is a reasonable number.
I agree.
20 then.
Okay, I want to use the 20 for Surftech.
That is correct. WGI, once again, I had a 20.
You got a 20, is that what you said?
That's what I said,
I'm
20.
at 18.
The score does not work for me. It works for you though. Huh?
I had a 22.
Basically, that generates a consensus number of 20, basically 18, 22, and 20.
Pretty agreeable.
20,
Sure.
Yes, sir.
20 then.
20 for WGI.
Yep. All right.
Puts us 75% of the way. Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break? And
Sounds good.
finish it out.
Sure.
We're back at 3:10. Okay, we will resume the evaluation committee for RPS 25-00264. And we are on to our last criteria, number 4, effect of firm's recent, current, and projected workload.
Right, so this one for me was the most variable category. This one is Hillsborough County is letting this contract because Hillsborough County has work to let. So adequate time and available personnel to complete services on schedule gets you, you're up to 16. If I'm gonna give more than that, then you have to have backup staffing capability in event of unforeseen circumstances. That would get you more. If you're gonna get lower than that, that means that you've got a lot of work already. And Hillsborough County, as a result of that, doesn't get first place in your list of potential candidate clients. So starting off with AIM, I gave them an 18 in this category, which means they're in the top. They're in the middle. That's basically the middle score for me. They have adequate staffing and they have some backup capability. Big firm, lots of surveyors. So 18 for me.
18.
I had 19.
All right. So 18, 18, 19, I think 18 is 18.
18 for AIM engineering, criteria 4.
Here we go. And then Atwell is the next one. Okay, so Atwell. This is probably my lowest score. I gave them a 12. They have lower than ideal availability in their chart. They don't have all the disciplines that Hillsborough County asked for, and lower than ideal availability was my note. So I gave them a 12.
I gave them a 17 and I would like to look at it again.
16.
For you, Larry, is that lower or middle or what?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was lower. My range is 16 at the lowest, 20 at the highest.
Okay,
So
so
mine was 15 to 19.
you and I agree, lowest availability out of all the group, because 12 was my lowest number.
10-4.
So you said 15, Larry? 16.
At 16, yes.
Trying to get my computer to work. Do you have this one up by chance? Do you have this one up by chance?
I don't have it up, but you can look at it. I'm right close by.
Those. If you look at their current capacity and scheduling,
Yeah. My computer's just reading the file, so.
there's the chart.
Understood.
So your number is,
It is 17.
that,
I think
your
I'm,
lowest.
no, it's not my lowest. I need to look at my lowest then.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan. It's on page 24, more or less, right?
Yes, 24.
Yeah, I see that. I need to look at a different one though. Cause I think my lowest one, like, it wasn't even clear that they answered the question.
Because I have another one I have a couple more that are fairly low.
What were your numbers again?
Larry's at 16.
Yep.
I'm at 12. And both of those are our lowest numbers.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to go down to 16, so we can base a consensus off of that, so we'll rise it down a point.
Okay, 16 then can be a consensus number. You got 16, 16, and 16.
Okay, 16 for Atwell.
16 for Atwell. Next one is Chastain Skillman. And this would be, me that they were a 17, lower third.
I have 17 as well.
19?
All right, well, you got 17, 17, and 19. I'm going to say, let's have a consensus, 17.
Yeah.
17 for Chastain Skillman.
17 for Chastain Skillman. For Civil Serve Design Group, I have a 17.
I had an 18.
18 as well.
I would be willing to go to 18 on theirs, 18.
18 is a consensus.
For Climber,
Sorry, that was 18 for civil service.
that is correct. For Climber, Farner, Bailey, I have a 17.
I had a 16.
18 as well.
16? 16, 17, 18.
Yep.
How about a consensus of 17?
Check.
17 for Climber, Farner, Bailey.
17.
Colliers Engineering and Design, once again, 17.
18.
19.
All right, I can go to 18. What do you think, Larry? 18?
Yes, sir.
All right, 18 is a consensus number for
18 for college.
Colliers. Cumbia Fair. Cumbia Fair, I gave 16. And the reason I gave them a 16 is they have a large near-term workload that may affect availability. Is that they have an odd-shaped chart. They take their 70% out farther than they're busy for like the first half of the year next year. And so I said, ooh, kind of like, okay, I'd like to see more availability in the first half of next year. So that's why I gave them the lower than normal 17,
Yeah,
the
that's
16.
That's fair. I gave them an 18.
18, okay.
I have an 18.
18. Let's just ding them a little then, 17 for the consensus number. Okay, 17,
17 for Cumbia Fair.
yes. DC Johnson, okay, DC Johnson, this is again, they tied for the bottom, 12, less than ideal availability.
I have a 15 for this one.
That was your lowest, right?
Yeah, 16 here as well.
Okay, so let's go with, let's go with the 15 then.
I agree.
What do you think? 15? All right. 15,
15 for BC Johnson.
yes. And DRMP, I have them at 18.
I had a 17.
Solid.
I gave them 20.
Okay, so 3 and 1.5, so they could go 18 or 19.
I agree.
18?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
18 for DRMP.
You got it.
And Echo, another one that has less than ideal availability, I gave them a 12.
I have 18 for them, so
I have a
wonder
15.
why.
Another, Larry also had them at the lowest that he gives. What do you say, 18?
I have an 18.
Let's see what their chart looks like. And that was Echo. Also. Yeah, and their percent of availability, all their people are.
That 65% plus. That's why I'm just misreading the chart.
No, some of them have a difficult time with these charts, and I think I read this as they were 65%.
Full.
Yeah,
I've read it the other way.
and exactly, and it could be, because it says percent of availability.
Right.
So why did I think I looked at this one, or maybe it was another, I think I looked at another one. No, I gave this one a 12 because I am reading this as not as availability, and this is. So I'm reading it upside down, basically.
Or I'm reading it upside down.
All the members of the team are committed and available for the life of the contract. Availability is separate. Below is a graphic representation of our key staff's availability for the duration of this project.
Yeah, so when I see that, it's like 60+% available.
That's right, which would make them much better.
Yeah.
And see, I think I read it the other way.
Larry.
Larry,
What do you think
how
on
did
that?
you read the chart? Is it,
So sorry,
we're looking at, echoes.
Yeah, I scored them at 18.
You scored them, I said, okay, so if it's percent of availability, and I've read this chart incorrectly, then mine should have been more normal for me, which would have been 17.
Okay.
And 17 would be the consensus number, 16, 18, and mine, 17.
17.
17 sounds reasonable.
Sure.
Echo gets a 17.
17 for Echo.
But Dan didn't read the chart correctly. Okay. So element engineering. Evidently, I read their chart correctly because they gave them a 17.
I gave them a 19.
18.
All right, and it looks like a consensus number would be 18 then. 17, 18, 19, 18.
Check.
Anybody? 18 for a consensus number.
18 for element.
That is correct. Florida Design Consultants. So I gave them a 16 on this because, again, they had a near-term workload that may affect availability. Again, they're busy, they have work, and so their chart said that they would be carrying work into this contract. So they didn't score them as high as they did others for that reason.
They did have a 19 scored by me.
17.
So 16 to 19 gives you either a 17 or an 18. I'm going to agree with Larry and make it a 17.
Me,
Agreed.
go back and look again. Numbers again.
We have Larry at 17, me at 16, you at 19. And the consensus number is either 17 or 18.
I think I'm good with 18 for consensus number.
In the way I'm thinking, this is a firm that's gonna be more difficult to deal with in the first half of the contract, in the first quarter of the the first 2 years of that contract.
Okay.
That's why I'm being, it's not the end of the world. They actually have forwarded the line. They probably have plenty of surveyors to dedicate to our work. They're just busier than the other firms. So.
Okay.
So
You'd like to go with?
I would like to go with
17
17. That's his number.
for consensus. Agreed.
Okay, 17 for Florida design.
Yes. GeoPoint surveying, and this is an outlier, that's a strange outlier. I gave them a 20. They need the work. Their chart said, we got no work. So I said, well, that's honest.
19.
19.
17.
All right, so 17 to 20. The consensus number would be 19. What do you think?
I agree.
19?
19 for GeoPoint.
19, yes. And then George F. Young, 17, solidly in the middle of. Their chart shows what I would expect to see of a successful company. 17 is what I have.
I have a 19 for them.
20 here.
So 19 could be a consensus number. I'm willing to go to 19.
Sure.
I agree.
19 for a consensus number.
19 for George F.
The next one is McKimmon Creed, and they were another one that said we could use the work. I gave them a 20.
19.
20.
So I would give them the 20 on the consensus
Sound
number.
20.
20 for a consensus number from McKimmon Creed. And then Pickett and Associates, I gave them also a high number, 19. Their chart was what I would typically expect to see for a company that wants work. Yes, they have work right now, but in the near future, they don't.
Yeah, I have a 17.
Okay,
18.
18, a consensus number of 18 then. Works for anybody?
All good.
18 for Pickett.
That is correct. Southeastern Surveying and Mapping, I gave them a 19. Again, that has the chart that I would expect to see.
I have 17.
18 here.
Same as last time, so I think a consensus number of 18 once again.
Chip. 18 for Southeastern
That
Survey.
is correct. Surveying and Mapping LLC. This is another group that I better look at the chart, make sure I didn't read it backwards because I gave them a 12, covering it has lower than ideal availability.
I have an 18, so let's go look at this one.
Larry, what'd you have?
It's 20, but I'm willing to.
20. So you guys are reading that chart as they need the work. And I'm reading it the other way.
Let's take a look.
Yes, so Surveying and Mapping LLC. Charts. I'm pretty sure this one is the one.
We need to give clear X, Y data.
Yes, I need to make sure, because I think they have two lines on this chart. One says availability, and then they have an explanatory line that says the opposite of availability, use, basically. And so I said, huh. So chart, come on, chart. Oh, so yeah, so this is the one. Team projected availability, but the top of the chart says workload projection. So if this is workload projection, they're all super busy to the point where they don't have time for us. But then they say, underneath that, they say team projected availability. And if that's the case, then then you guys are right. This is a company that needs work.
Yeah, the way I read it is that availability goes up over time for the top line, for example.
Yeah, because I mean, you see
Yeah.
workload projection.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And then this projected availability, which is this? This workload projection? These guys are busy, or is this availability? These guys don't have anything to do,
I took it as the availability went up over time. That's how I read it.
and that's how you read it.
That's the way I read it too. That's why I saw it. But I mean, like I said, it doesn't sound right after you, what you.
Well, it's just poor. I wouldn't have, as important as this is, I had to make sure that it was clear. They didn't. But this doesn't make sense to put in your
Yeah, that's-
proposal.
Right.
So, I mean, from looking at it the way I look at it, it shouldn't be in here. So I think you guys are looking at it the right way, and I've been, so
No, I agree.
I'm willing to go with a consensus number, then would be like 19, 20, and 18, consensus of 19.
Yeah, I mean, if it still sounds high, we can,
No. If this chart is,
all right,
if this chart says this is availability chart.
Yeah.
Then it should be 19.
okay, 19.
Okay, so 19 for surveying and mapping.
Yes, 19 for surveying. Surf Tech Solutions. I have them at a 16, and this is a particular one. The reason is most of their people have availability, but their CAD technicians only have 30% availability.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
And there's only a couple of them. In other words, they need CAD help. They're probably looking for CAD help,
sure.
but it's right in their thing. So it doesn't hurt them that much, but that's why I gave them a 16 instead of, like, if it hadn't been for that one aspect, they probably would have gotten a 17 or an 18 from me. But CAD availability, there's a bottleneck, and I even note that bottleneck of CAD technician availability.
At 17.
18 here,
So a consensus number of 17.
agreed.
All right,
17 for Serve Tech.
That's correct. WPI, I have them at 16,
17.
16 as well.
and the large near-term workload that may affect availability. So you had 16, Larry?
Yes, sir.
So 16, 16, and 17, I think 16.
Sure.
Agreed.
16 then.
16 for WGI. Okay. Give me a good job, guys. We made it. Good job. Give me a couple minutes to finish up tallying the scores here and then talk them through.
And all the bonus points for all the other things that they did.
Yes, we will now those.
If you can make my computer not explode.
Did your computer survive or did it die near the end?
No, it's still up, but it is at the end. It was going to be an air thing. That's okay, I can take it back and charge it now. It doesn't need any more.
Very good. Okay, good job. We made it through 20 proposals, work out to a proposal with 80 scores we gave. That's very good. I'm going to go back and read each firm's criteria 1, 2, 3, and 4. When I finish, if we guys will just confirm that that is correct, that's the score we gave them. So you have them all jotted down there, Dan.
I do.
And then I'll announce the DM/DWE bonus points, the volume of work bonus points, and the past performance rating, and give the total score. But before I do that, I'm going to quickly rank them because I will announce them in order at the end.
At golf, I'm ready to do check scores.
Powerball thing.
Hopefully somebody owes me money at the end of this, right? It's good to get Larry out of his apartment.
That's good. I didn't, I was just thinking that's in my head too.
First time he's seen the sky in like 2.5 years. I guess that's what it looks like. It's still blue, Larry.
That's it. I'm going back to my hole.
Back to your cave, huh? Do you ever come in? You never,
My work location is traffic management, so.
so you go there for
Yeah,
one
I
day
go
a
there
week?
once a week.
Okay.
And there's nobody there during that day, so I'm basically it's only a half a day, then wait until lunchtime and then after lunch I go home.
And I remember what that like when COVID, right after COVID first hit. I didn't like working at home and I asked to come here to work and I was the only, there was like 5 people in this building. I was the only person on our floor. It's like, this is better than home. You ready?
Let's run through these. We'll go in alphabetical order here to start. AIM Engineering and Surveying, Inc. Criteria 1, score of 24.
Check,
Criteria 2, score of 21.
check,
Criteria 3, score of 21.
check,
Criteria 4, score of 18.
check,
As a total consultant selection criteria of 84. They received 0 points for DM/DWE participation, 5 points for volume of work, and 4 points for past performance rating, for a total score of 93. 93.
Okay.
Atwell LLC received 18 for criteria 1,
check,
17 for criteria 2,
check,
21 for criteria 3,
check,
16 for criteria 4.
check,
As a total selection criteria score of 72. They received 0 for DM/DWE participation, 5 points for volume of work, and 4 for past performance rating, for a total score of 81. Chastain Skillman, 20 for criteria 1,
check,
17 for criteria 2,
check,
19 for criteria 3,
check,
17 for criteria 4.
check,
Okay, total consultant score of 73. They received 5 bonus points for DM/DWE participation, 5 points for volume of work, and 4 points for past performance, for a total score of 87. Civil Serve Design Group, Inc. 23 for criteria 1,
check,
21 for criteria 2,
check,
19 for criteria 3,
check,
18 for criteria 4.
check,
That's 81 total. They received 5 bonus points for DM/DWB, 5 for volume of work, and 3 for past performance rating, for a total score of 94.
9-4.
94. Clymer Farner Barley Surveying LLC. 20 points for criteria 1,
check,
17 for criteria 2,
check,
20 for criteria 3,
check,
17 for criteria 4.
check,
That is a 74. They received 5 bonus points for DM/DWBE, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance, for a total of 88. Colliers Engineering and Design. 23 for criteria 1,
check,
21 for criteria 2,
check,
20 for criteria 3,
check,
18 for criteria 4.
check,
That is 82 total. 5 bonus points for DM/DWBE, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance rating, for a total score of 96. 96 for Collier. Cumbie and Fair, Inc. 22 for criteria 1,
check,
22 for criteria 2,
check,
21 for criteria 3,
check,
17 for criteria 4.
check,
That is 82 total. They received 5 for DM/DWD, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance, for a total of 96. DC Johnson and Associates, 17 criteria 1,
check,
15 criteria 2,
check,
16 criteria 3,
check,
15 criteria 4.
check,
That is 63 total. They received 0 for DM/DWDE, 5 for volume of work, and 4 points for past performance rating, for a total score of 72. DRMP Inc. 22 for criteria 1,
check,
20 for criteria 2,
check,
21 for criteria 3,
check,
and 18 for criteria 4.
check,
That is a total of 81 for DRMP. They also received 5 for DM/DWBE, 0 for volume of work, and 5 for past performance rating, for a total score of 91.
90.
91.
Okay.
91. Echo UES Inc. 23 for criteria 1,
check,
22 for criteria 2,
check,
21 for criteria 3,
check,
17 for criteria 4.
check,
Total of 83 there. They also received 5 for DM/DWBE, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance rating, for a total score of 97. Element Engineering Group LLC, 21 for criteria 1,
check,
22 for criteria 2,
check,
20 for criteria 3,
check,
18 for criteria 4.
check,
That is a total score of 81. They also received 5 for DM/DWBE, 4 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance rating, for a total combined of 94 points. Florida Design Consultants Inc., 19 criteria 1,
check,
17 criteria 2,
check,
19 criteria 3,
check,
17 criteria 4.
check,
That's 72 total there. 0 for DM/DWB, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance rating, for a total score of 81. GeoPoint Survey, 18 criteria 1,
a check,
19 criteria 2,
check,
18 criteria 3,
check,
19 criteria 4.
check,
Then it's 74. Add in 0 for DM/DWB, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance, for a total score of 83. George F. Young, 24 for criteria 1,
check,
22 for criteria 2,
check,
19 for criteria 3,
check,
19 for criteria 4.
check,
That is 84. 5 points for DM/DWBE, 4 for volume of work, and 3 for past performance, for a total score of 96. McKim and Creed, 25 for criteria 1,
check,
21 for criteria 2,
check,
20 for criteria 3,
check,
20 for criteria 4.
check,
That's 86. They also received 5 for DM/DWBE, 4 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance, for a total of 99. Pickett and Associates, 22 for criteria 1,
check,
18 for criteria 2,
check,
19 for criteria 3,
check,
18 for criteria 4.
check,
That's 77. 0 for DM/DWBE, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance, for a total score of 86. Few more. Southeastern Surveying and Mapping Corporation, 21 criteria 1,
check,
17 criteria 2,
check,
19 criteria 3,
check,
18 criteria 4.
check,
That's 75. They also received 5 for DM/DWE bonus points, 5 for volume of work, and 3 for past performance, for a total of 88. Surveying and Mapping LLC, 22
check,
criteria 1, 20 for criteria 2,
check,
21 criteria 3,
check,
19 criteria 4.
check,
That's 82. 5 for DM/DWB participation, 5 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance, for 96 total. ServTech Solutions, 23 criteria 1,
check,
21 criteria 2,
check,
20 criteria 3,
check,
17 criteria 4.
check,
That's 81. 5 for DM/DWBE participation, 4 for volume of work, and 4 for past performance rating. That's 94 total. And our last one, WGI Inc., 21 for criteria 1,
check,
20 for criteria 2,
check,
20 for criteria 3,
check,
and 16 for criteria 4.
check,
That's 77. 5 for DM/DWB participation, 5 for volume of work, and 2 for past performance rating, for a total of 89. So if I were to read these in order, and Dan, if I read one out of order, just correct me here. I have McKim and Creed ranked number 1 at 99.
yes,
I have Echo UES ranked number 2 at 97.
yes,
I've got a pretty large tie for third. I've got Collier's Engineering at 96.
yes,
Cumbie and Fair at 96.
yes,
George F. Young at 96.
yes,
And Surveying and Mapping at 96.
yes.
That would lead us with our next place, would be seventh. Tied for seventh would be Civil Serve Design Group at 94. Element Engineering Group at 94. And Serve Tech Solutions at 94.
Take us to 9.
Or that'd be 10.
2.
9 total. 10th is, you're correct. 10th is next, yes. In 10th, I have AIM Engineering at 93. In 11th, I have DRMP at 91.
Okay.
Okay, and then in 12th, I have a. Do I have a tie? I'm sorry, I have WGI at 12th at 89, yes. And then in 13th, I've got with 88 points, Climber, Farney, Barley, and Southeastern Surveying and Mapping. 15th, I've got Chastain Skillman with 87 points. 16th, Pickett and Associates with 86. 17th, Geopoint Surveying with 83. 18th, Florida Design Consultants with 81. 19th is a. What do we have left here? 19th would be Atwell. It actually, excuse me, a tie for 18th, Atwell, and it's 81. And then 20th would be DC Johnson at 72. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a lot to run through. Thank you guys for all your hard work on this. If you have notes, please submit them to Dan so we can complete his evaluation summary. For you guys and for anybody watching online, please monitor UNA for future updates around this solicitation. If there's nothing else, that will conclude the evaluation committee meeting for RPS-25-00264, professional and miscellaneous services for Geomatics. Have a good day, everyone.
Never do that again.